Good morning, everybody. Now, before going to that last theme, that is national diversity, which is very interesting, let us see in what way these three villages have been affected by this environmental degradation. See reading, a tale of three villages. A tale of three villages. One village is taken from Nigeria, that is Coco village. Second one is Ponnimanturi village from Kerala, India. And the third village is Vorbio, that is Ukraine, earlier the USSR. Now, Coco village, Nigeria. Mr. Sunday Nana, his wife and 4 small children live in Coco village, Nigeria. Mr. Sunday Nana, name of that person, he lives with his family in that village, Coco, in Nigeria. The village is like any other African village. Picturesque, colorful and noisy. Just like any other village, not only in Africa, any other country that is enjoying nature and naturally placed. It is picturesque, colorful and noisy. The Nana family's house too is the same as all other houses in the village. Mr. Sunday Nana's house is also just like the same as all other houses in that village, with mud walls and rusting corrugated iron roof, and with the children and chickens sharing the compound with their pets and all, like chickens and dogs. So very nice, pleasant atmosphere that village is having, but only one difference. There is one difference, however. Let us see what the difference is. Outside Mr. Nana's front are 3 large empty metal drums. In front of his house, there are 3 large metal drums, empty drums. The bright red paint now flaking away. The bright red paint, because of that heat and all, it is flaking away. But the skull and crossbones symbol clearly visible on each. But the symbol, that is crossbones and skull, that is a dangerous, danger symbol. That danger symbol still it is there on those empty drums, though the red paint is flaking away. That crossbones and skull, that is indicating danger symbol. And in a clearing, that is in a gap, so 200 meters away from the village, 200 meters away from the village, in a clearing, it means in a pathway, next to a stream that the villagers get their drinking water from. From there, the villagers get their drinking water, there at that clearing, beyond which maybe there is a water body. From that water body, they get their drinking water. So, it's an enormous pyramid of identical drums. There we see an enormous pyramid of identical drums, similar drums. All are empty and slowly giving out those poisonous leftover chemicals. Reaching to the sky. Reaching to the sky, it does mean that the piling up is very high. Some of them are badly corroded. Some of those empty drums were badly corroded. Their slimy contents of various colors, grey, dark green, bright orange, etc., leaking out. Those slimy liquids, chemical liquids of various colors and all, they are leaking away. And they are leaking down onto the baked African earth and into the stream. So they are leaking out from those drums and leaking down onto that African earth, that is very hot because of that around 45 degrees Celsius sunlight and all, and that African soil, that is almost all seemed to be baked in the hot sun. Onto that African baked land, these slimy contents are leaking down after leaking out from those empty drums. Some have fallen down or rolled or been rolled by playful children. Some drums, unable to be there on that top, so they might have fallen down on their own, or some of them might have been rolled or might have been rolled down by these playful children. into the bush. Some are smoking in the midday heat. Some drums are smoking in the midday heat. Some are swelling as if their contents are bursting to get out. Some are having received that heat and all. Okay, as the might be the lids are very tight, so inside they are swelling as if they would burst out. Okay, some have already burst. They came on a Wednesday, said Sunday. Many big lorries. They took all day unloading them. So Mr. Sunday Nana, what he says to the journalist, okay, who is interviewing him, okay, one day many big lorries, okay, many lorries have come and unloaded those empty drums in which so the leftover poisonous chemicals, okay, so maybe very limited in quantity, so they dumped those empty drums here. No one told us what was in them. Mr. Sunday, he says, no one told them what was in those empty drums. They gave the chief, that is maybe village head and all, a brown paper bribery. Okay, and I saw him smiling at the lorries as the lorries drove away. As the lorries drove away, that village chief, he got a brown paper bag in which no doubt they might have kept some money and all. So the village chief was bribed, and he had a content smile on his face while the lorries are being driven away by those drivers. This was 5 years ago. That happened 5 years ago. Then 3 months ago, one of the brightest boys in the village, Thomas Aganyo, started university in Lagos. An educated youth came from that place where he was studying higher studies, Lagos. But that boy is from this village, Coco. He came home one weekend with a new chemistry book and spent all day looking at the drums and writing things down and talking to himself and shaking his head. Okay, he went to the drums having a notebook in his hand and writing something down in that notebook and continuously nodding, maybe in disagreement with what he was seeing there. Okay, so he was talking to himself also. Okay, to the outsider, okay, he might be looking insane person. We all thought he had gone mad. Then he called a meeting of the village and told us that the drums contained poisonous chemicals. So after studying those empty drums thoroughly, the boy called for a meeting of all those villagers and told them what actually was there in that drums and in what way they were danger to their lives. He said they had come from Italy. Okay, so even those villagers, Coco villagers, they couldn't even know where they had come from. It was the boy who told them, Thomas Aganyo, that those lorries, so those drums had come from Italy. But I don't know where that is. Sunday Nana innocently accepts his lack of knowledge that he didn't know where Italy is. Is it in Europe? Mr. Sunday Nana stopped frowning, a troubled look on his face. Now, Mr. Sunday Nana, who is being interviewed by a journalist, okay, about his village and all, he frowned. Okay, he resigned to his fate, and what he said, in the last 5 years, 13 people have died in this village. In the last 5 years. Why? Because these drums had been dumped in that village 5 years earlier. In those 5 years, 13 people have died in this village. My own elder brother, one of them, one of his elder brothers also, he lost. They have been in pain, terrible pain. So they have been in pain, terrible pain. In what way could they bring some connection between these chemical drums and those poisonous fumes and all, and their deteriorating health and pain and all? So these innocent, so ignorant, illiterate villagers could not bring any contact, bring any relationship between those dumped poisonous chemical drums and their villagers' deteriorating health. We have never seen deaths like that before. Such deaths had never been seen in his village. Lots of our children are sick. Not only elders, okay, lots of young children who would be normally healthy, they are very sick. We have asked the government to take the drums away, but they do nothing. So the government, okay, so said they could do nothing when they asked the government to clear the drums from their village. We have written to Italy, but they do nothing. After that, so they wrote to Italy also to do something, but they too did Nothing. The chief says we should move our houses to another place. The village head who received that brown paper cover, who was bribed, okay, maybe he also didn't know time of receiving that what the harm he was causing to his people and all. That village head, what he said, okay, so please go and build your houses in another place. But these poor villagers, they didn't have money to go and settle somewhere else. They had to live there, having no other option other than that mountainous pile of those empty drums, as if, okay, those drums were their neighbors. But they do nothing. The chief says we should move our houses to another place, but we have no money to buy land. We have no choice. They had no choice. We have to stay here. Okay, they have to stay there. And they, who are they? Those drums, pointing to the mountain of death in the clearing. Mountain of death. It does mean that those empty drums who are piled up like a mountain, that mountain of death in the clearing, as if they are our neighbors. We have no choice. That what happened to that village Coco because of this water pollution by those empty chemical drums which had been brought from Italy. Now, the second village is Panimantur village in India, Kerala. I can remember the time, she said wistfully. So here, just like Sunday Nana, okay, Vijay Sama, a woman was being interviewed by an interviewer. What she said? I can remember the time when all the fields around this village were green and the harvests good. There was time, okay, all these fields were green and harvests good. Her outstretched arm described a complete circle as she stood in the morning sun. She made a full circle of her hand to say that all those fields were green. It means to what extent, okay, so they could see to that extent all those fields were very green and harvests good. But that once upon a time, earlier, not now. Okay, what happened now? Okay, so in those places, in that place, okay, these monsters came. She says, what those monsters are? As you know, those tanneries, okay, leather processing factories. Then they built those monsters, those monsters, that is tanneries. Her voice spluttered in anger as she shook her fist at a collection of ominous looking black buildings on the horizon, showing those tanneries, leather processing factories with long, tall chimneys and all. Okay, so she was showing her anger. She was a bit angry, okay, at those factories and factory owners, but she could do nothing. She was totally helpless. That's why her voice spluttered. Okay, she could not speak clearly. Covered in a low-lying shroud of thick smoke, they said, who are they? Those factory owners. They said that factories need leather to make shoes, handbags, and clothes. They said our menfolk would get jobs. Those factory owners, they promised or they told us that our menfolk, okay, who were not having any jobs and all, they would get jobs and we would become rich also. Okay, they said we would all become rich. Okay, we stood silent. Who are that we? This woman who was talking to the journalist and the journalist, each thinking our own thoughts. Both were immersed in their own thoughts. Yes, they told you all that. Yes, they told you all that. Okay, they have painted all that rosy picture, but they didn't talk to you about those thorns. Okay, under that rose. But there is so much they didn't tell you. Okay, they told you so much, but they didn't tell you so much. In fact, what they told you, that is far less than what they didn't tell you, ma'am. They didn't tell you that to change animal skins into leather, which they call tanning, uses as many as 250 different chemicals. This was not told them. What is that? More than 250 heavy chemicals which are very dangerous, okay, to the human health and all. Such poisonous chemicals they have to use while processing that skin, because the animals are skinned and that leather is to be, sorry, not leather, that skinned animal, that skin is to be processed. After processing only that raw skin would become leather. So to do the process, they have built these establishments. They are known as tanneries. There the tanning operation takes place. The processing of that rod skin into leather, that is known as tanning, including heavy metals such as cadmium, arsenic and chromium. Why these heavy metals are mentioned? Because these heavy metals are very, very dangerous, and almost all 90% of the cases exposing to them, okay, so would cause us cancer and all, okay, our life will be threatened. But what is the use once we would become rich financially, once we have lost our health and losing our lives? This was not told to them by those factory owners. Okay, this journalist is saying to that woman, they didn't tell you that these chemicals are discharged into the environment from those chimney stacks and fall to earth for miles around, polluting the earth below. So this smoke and dust emanating from those chimney stalks, no doubt, okay, so they would settle for miles together on the ground. That was the reason those green good harvesting fields became barren. They didn't tell you that this would poison your fields, okay, so that nothing will grow. So they didn't tell you that so nothing would grow, because this fertile land would become barren. They didn't tell us that the chemicals would be dumped in open fields and into our rivers, said Vijayasama. Here the name is given. So this woman Vijayasama, what she says, so they didn't tell us that these used chemicals, discharged chemicals would be discharged into our water bodies. Okay, earlier, okay, just okay, a glass of water we could take from any water body. Now to have a glass of water we have to walk 10 miles together, 10 kilometers. We had been thinking the same thoughts. They didn't tell us that our women would have to walk 10 kilometers every day to have potable water. They didn't tell us earlier. Okay, so having potable water is not at all a luxury. In fact, we took it as a granted. Okay, we never thought that to have a glass of water we had to walk 10 kilometers away, as nearby water bodies, okay, being dumped these chemicals by those factories and all. Okay, these water bodies are highly polluted. No doubt they are not contaminated, they are highly polluted, and that water cannot be consumed, not only to take inside as drinking water, but even to wash our feet also that water cannot be used. In that condition, no doubt, to get that potable water, okay, we have to walk 10 kilometers away. So this situation, no doubt, say maybe they knew, not they maybe knew, they knew, but they didn't tell us. Vijayasama, okay, unable to control her emotions and all, okay, slowly trailed off. What do you mean trailing off? Okay, slowly reducing her voice, okay, because her helplessness made her unable to speak. That's why her voice trailed off. They didn't tell us that our women would have to walk 10 kilometers every day. They didn't tell us that we would get ulcers and sores on our bodies. They didn't tell us. ఏమీ చెప్పలేదండి, ఏమీ చెప్పలేదు. That is the meaning of trailing off. Okay, her voice trailed off. There is so much they didn't tell you, I thought. This journalist, okay, yes ma'am, you are right. They didn't tell you so much they didn't tell you. In fact, once again, what they told you, so that is 1%. What they didn't tell you, that is 99%. Of course, the woman finally concluded to the journalist, sir, we only have one thing on our hands, that is, we decided we don't buy any leather goods. We don't buy leather shoes or leather handbags or leather clothes, she said. That only she could. But that is very major thing. In fact, that is the only thing that can be done. If nobody buys, then no business, no commerce, no tanneries. Maybe it is possible or may not be it is possible, but the only one thing on her hand, that was not buying those leather goods. So concludingly, determinedly, she declared to that journalist, that is, we don't buy leather shoes or leather handbags or leather clothes. She said that is the only way we can take very small amount of revenge, if not revenge, okay, so our reaction, that's all. Okay, with that, now how the air is polluted with the radioactivity material and all, that what had happened in 1986, that is Chernobyl nuclear disaster. Okay, recently we all have seen the styrene gas leak in Visakhapatnam and all. Such tragedy in our childhood when we were 10 class students and all. In 1986 it happened. Let us see. It happened on April 26, 1986. This speaker clearly remembers that date because that was the birthday of her mother. Natasha Revenko is the woman speaking to that journalist. It happened on April 26, 1986. I remember the date because it was my mother's birthday. We heard the explosion early in the morning. That early in the morning they heard that explosion. But hearing such explosion had not been a new thing to them. Such explosions, such loud sounds they had been hearing, but that sound was a bit louder than what they had heard till then. We didn't worry because there had been explosions before from Chernobyl, but this one was bigger. Of course, that is the only small difference, but this one was bigger. Okay, resigning, thinking that it was a bigger loud explosion which they had been hearing all those years and all. So she is normal. Everyone stopped what they were doing and listened. Of course, that bigger explosion alerted them, and they stopped what they were doing and listened whether there would be further sounds and all. Then we ran out into the garden. They ran out into the garden. We could see a cloud of white smoke coming from the nuclear reactor. There they saw this white smoke coming out from that nuclear reactor. Okay, so chimneys and all. Natasha Revenko wiped her hands nervously on her apron. Apron is, as you know, so the top cloth. Okay, so in order not to get our uniform or clothes dirty, these doctors and these chefs and they wear on her apron. So she wiped her hands. Okay, and her eyes also welled with tears, and slid slowly down her. Wiped her hands nervously on her apron. Tears came to the corners of her eyes. Tears came to the corner of her eyes and slid slowly down her pinched pale cheeks. Okay, slowly those tears rolled down on her pink cheeks, but those cheeks are, maybe they are pink, but they are not what do you call, chubby. They are not puffy. They are pale. It was a Sunday, she went on, still wiping her hands on her apron. This journalist might have contracted maybe 87, 88, 89, 90 after 1986. So remembering the loss she had experienced in 1986 on April 26th, okay, remembering which, okay, the incident even today also would bring tears into her eyes. That's why her puffy, chubby cheeks became pale, okay, continuously being troubled by that loss. What she lost? She lost all her 3 children. That day, she remembered, it was a lovely warm day, 26th April, and the children played outside all weekend. Even when the dust began to fall, they still played outside. When this radioactive dust that came out from that nuclear reactor, when it fall onto the ground, these children started playing with that radioactive dust because it is so white in color. And as Russia, it is Ukraine, that is cold country, receiving snow and all, it is not a new thing to them. That's why these children innocently made that radioactive dust, okay, into balls, and they started throwing at each other. In fact, they were not playing with snow balls. In fact, they were playing with radioactive dust, okay, being made into balls. They picked up handfuls of that radioactive dust and threw it at each other, laughing. It was Wednesday before the loudspeaker van came to the village. Okay, that happened a Sunday. After 3 days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. On Wednesday, okay, a public addressing system with a van came and announced. What they announced? Keep our children indoors and not to touch the radioactive dust. The announcement was, we should keep our children inside and we should not touch that radioactive dust. Even we didn't know that it was radioactive dust. But this announcement, which was supposed to come immediately after that explosion, came after 3 days. A week later, the children began to vomit. Now the exposure to that radioactive dust started showing its effects, and these children, and it doesn't matter whether the immunity power is strong or less, okay, because that impact is much severe than our the most powerful and the stronger immunity power and all. It doesn't have anything to do with the immunity power and all. So these weak children, these children, okay, so as children they started to vomit. Their hair fell out. They couldn't eat. They grow so thin and sores appeared all over their little bodies. Within no time, sores, blisters appeared all over their bodies. 2 weeks after that, after 2 weeks of occurring these blisters on their bodies and all died. All three children died. All three on the same day. All three died. All three on the same day. My dear children, please, why she said all three died? That would be enough. All three on the same day. She broke down now and cried quietly. She broke down and cried quietly. Once again, please pause and think. It happened in 1986. Well after that, after a few years also, okay, so how sad she was that day. So sad she is even now also, as she had done so many times before. Okay, so such quiet crying happened so many times earlier also. They are buried over there. They are buried over there. Okay, so pointing out to a spot, okay, she told the journalist that all those three children buried over there in that cemetery. She pointed to that church graveyard. Lots of village children are, and adults, not only my children, lots of children and even adults also died because of that okay, radioactive dust exposure and all, okay, radioactivity effects, and all are buried there. I touched her gently on the shoulder. To comfort her, this journalist touched her shoulder gently, leaving her to her bittersweet memories. Maybe the journalist thought that okay, so it would be better for him to leave her to her own thoughts. Maybe after a few minutes she would be all right, because the crying would give her an outlet, okay, so by venting out which she would feel better, okay, and walked on through the silence. Silently they were walking together. It was a ghost town, okay, that Warbeo village, now it was a ghost town. What does it mean? It means people are not living, and of course no animal, no plants, no flora, no fauna, okay, so no life can be seen in that area. In that way the town has become a ghost town. No one lived there anymore. No one means no one, including a plant and an animal. So they had either died or been forcibly evacuated. They had died or had been forcibly evacuated by the government. The fields were barren. The fields which had been very fertile and green and all, these fields now are barren. Nothing grew. Okay, nothing ever would again. Nothing grew and nothing would ever grow again there. There was no bird song. No bird song. No rabbit peered at me. No cow endlessly cheered. No horse neighed. So this is the beauty of nature. Such beauty cannot be seen there in that place. No bird song, no rabbit peering at me, no cow endlessly chewing, and no horse neighed, no dog barks, no bird chirps. Natasha caught me up as we boarded the bus marked Moscow. Finally, they boarded the Moscow. They boarded the bus marked Moscow. The bus was going to Moscow. From Moscow, they came to this Warbeo village. Thank you for coming with me, she said. Sure, she thanked the journalist. Okay, thank you very much for coming with me, because before I die, no doubt I am not immortal. I too am mortal, but my only feeling is so there is so much of future for my children. Such children okay, died because of this episode. But before my death, before meeting my death, before meeting my children, okay, in the heaven or hell, okay, so before that I wanted to see this graveyard once. Without your visit, without your coming, so it would not be possible. So thank you very much for your visit, she thanked the journalist. Okay, Thank you for coming with me. She said, I wanted to see the graves and the house again before I die. So, her motherly nature, motherly love and affection, just she wanted to see those lifeless children buried under 6 feet in the graveyard. She wanted to see once more before she died. Thank you. Thank you so much. Please don't restrict these lessons just for the sake of lessons or textbook or exams. By introducing such lessons, the authorities wanted to bring some environmental awareness into our psyche so that we would do whatever we could do so that this planet could be handed over wonderfully to our future generations. Thank you very much for giving me this chance. Thank you very much for my passive listening. Thank you very much.